Welcome back to the Battlefield 2042 beta. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the biggest problems in the beta, or the biggest problems with Battlefield 2042. And I know instantly there are a lot of people that will defend EA and DICE and say that Battlefield's amazing, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And the amount of comments and just discussions, even not on my content, even on Twitter in threads and stuff, just whenever I've been looking up anything related to Battlefield, you just see so many people saying, oh, it's a 2-month-old build, it's a 3-month-old build. And that's what I want to clear up today, what I want to get into. I mentioned it in a previous video, and it's just frustrating seeing that, especially after knowing like a decent portion of the history of the development of this game. Not in terms of, oh, I know everything pre-alpha, all this sort of stuff. I'm talking a lot closer to launch. So pretty much like announcement and then tech test. Then they've done trailers and everything alongside it. Now they've got the beta. I've been following discussions on it. I've been watching other videos on it. And just to clarify what a beta typically is within the gaming industry, it will be used to finalise the polishing of a game, so you can expect bugs and other problems in them. They are used for the community to have input and leave feedback about issues that the studio's game testers might have missed. But with that being said, why did the Battlefield 2042 beta have so many issues? I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, and you guys, like, if you've seen my videos, you would have seen all the bugs. There were at least 10 to 20 bugs per match, like minimum. And we'll get into it towards the end, like what some of them bugs were. Some of them, yeah, might be nitpicking, but it's still a bug. And the reason the bugs are there, and they are so abundant, like there's so many of them, is because, as people say, it was a 2+ month old build. And the problems start showing with that because there is 1 month until they release this game. They said they fixed loads of bugs from the beta build, but how are we supposed to know what still needs fixing? When we go to them and leave feedback and say, there's something wrong with this isn't working, this is broken, this is buggy, this is laggy, this is a mess, most of that is going to be ignored because they might have already fixed it. They haven't kept in tune with their community because they've released a build that's at least, like, just say, for example, it's bang on 2 months old. They've released that and said, oh, we've done a lot of polishing since that build. So for an example, you've got like players that are, like, you can see them sitting outside a chopper. Say they fix that, but you find it in this beta build. You go and report it and give feedback and ask them to fix it. They could have already fixed it. We don't know anything about what has been polished and what bugs have been squashed from this beta because it's such an old build. They should have either, in my opinion, ran the beta a month or two ago on the build that we have played through the beta so they can get community feedback, work alongside the game testers, and give themselves more time to fix the issues that are found. Or they should have just ignored the beta for the game and released some form of early access, like Weekend or something like that, using the newest build they have, so that people have a better idea of what the full game's going to be like, and if there are any outstanding bugs, they would know what's left to fix for sure, like for 100% for certain, because it's on the newest build they've got. So there wouldn't be any confusion or anything like that. Players would know what's been fixed and what hasn't. Because right now, there are so many bugs, nobody knows what's actually going to be a bug in the full game. I can imagine quite a lot of it, because typically, from beta to full release, nothing actually gets worked on. I don't know what they use that time for. Maybe twiddling their thumbs or like checking their bank accounts, whatever, like seeing how many pre-orders they've got and stuff. I don't know what that time gets used for, but the majority of games nowadays, from beta to full release, will not change anything, or if they do, it'll be very, very minor changes. The thing that started off my concerns is the fact that they were using pre-alpha footage for the trailers, and they were only months away from launch. They should have been using much more up-to-date sort of stuff. And not only that, there's been people that are saying, oh, you shouldn't be playing this game on a console, you've got to play on a PC to get the best experience. I saw someone post on Twitter, they were playing the beta on their PC, and their PC set itself on fire. They probably burnt half their components, lost a load of money from playing the beta. It's not a guarantee the beta was the cause, but that's a little bit off-putting. I'm glad I'm playing it on my Series X. Yeah, I did initially download the Xbox One version, and people started calling me a liar for it, but I said, read the pinned comment on the video. They had to scroll to pretty much see the pinned comment to type their comment. But I said read it because I clarified after I realised I've installed the wrong version. I don't know why on the Series X the primary version of the game was the Xbox One. But I have played the Series X one, I've done a video on it. And to be completely honest with you, the Series X version has way more bugs than the Xbox One version, so it's even worse than what I initially anticipated. But even with this beta being 2 or 3 months old, there are a lot of bugs, and there's no denying that. People can't deny that there are a lot of bugs. There's even a lot of hackers in the beta, but they probably won't find most of them. For an example, as I said, we'll go through some of the bugs. Getting stuck at a flag in the alpha sector, like in the first video I did of actual beta gameplay from myself. The video's titled "The Game is an Absolute Mess, It's an Angry Rant." The elevator doors staying closed but players being able to clip through them. Not being able to select your specialist or your loadout before you first spawn in, so you're going in as default. Parachutes floating around the place. Bodies either being stood up and instantly laying down, literally like frame by frame sort of thing. So it's more like a slideshow than an actual like animation. Or they stand up and you can scope at them, like have a look at them, but they're just like character models just standing there. Then they disappear when they're not being controlled by anyone. You can shoot at them, they don't take damage, they don't move, they simply just disappear off your screen. Every time I go to change my attachments, the sight keeps changing itself when I put a grip on my weapon. As I said, people can be seen on the outside of choppers. I think you get the point, there's a lot of bugs. And they could have fixed every single one. But I mean, that's as likely as me hitting 1 million subscribers on this channel by tomorrow. But you do never know. Or this build could actually be very close to the full release build, because how are you supposed to trust them when they said they were months ahead of schedule, and then only weeks later, they delayed the game? Why did they need to delay the game when they're months ahead of their schedule? That would mean they're pretty much almost in a fully polished state, ready for their live service release. In my opinion, based on the beta, disregarding the fact that it's an old build, I would say this game needs at least 9 to 12 months extra work. And putting that even on an old build, if it's 2 months old, then 3 months isn't going to be enough to fix everything, from what I believe. So we're playing on a 2-month-old build, they've done some work in the last 2 months, they have 1 month until release, so 2 and 1 obviously makes 3, I don't think they're going to be able to get everything fixed. If they're in-game testers that used the beta build that we got to play 2 months ago, if they used it 2 months ago, and they found 50 issues, they could have got 40 of them fixed. But then when it's come out for players to play, players have found 100 issues, there are 50 issues that they didn't know about, and they now have 1 month to fix the remaining 50 issues. Not going to happen. This game, absolutely no doubt about it, will have lots of players. And people are going to have fun on it, because it's a Battlefield game. Battlefield games are always fun, even if they're not as great as the previous one or a much older one. But just because it's a Battlefield game doesn't excuse the fact that the community deserve better. And that's why I do my rants, that's why I moan about these games. I just want gamers to be treated with a little bit more respect from the developers and the publishers, not do everything for money, and don't take us for granted. At the end of the day, these companies would be nothing without us. It's bad enough that this game is going to be live service, that model's the absolute worst, but having loads of possible issues in a multiplayer only game for $70 like base standard edition is ridiculous. And people that are defending it are seeming to forget that the beta ran on 1 map. So what if the bugs are bigger and worse in the full release because the build is much bigger and each map could have different bugs? What if they've just used this 1 map to showcase the best builds they've got for the game, the full game comes out and all 6 of the other maps are absolutely diabolical? What happens then? It's too late for anyone to do anything, because if you're playing on console, or at least Xbox, the moment you launch the game, you are no longer eligible for a refund. Microsoft do not accept it. The only, if this game comes out really, really badly broken, the only way you're getting a refund is if there is enough backlash off everyone to the point where they say, right, we'll open up the refunds, like what happened with Cyberpunk. And I don't think they're going to want to do that very often because they're going to lose a lot of money. And not only that, Microsoft were very tight with their refunds. It took them a long time. And then also, Sony with Cyberpunk, they kept it off the store for 100 days. So all companies, all round, Microsoft, Sony, EA, DICE, they will all lose money. So they won't do refunds, like, happily at all. And people would have already paid for what could potentially be a really, really bad release. Having lots of issues in any beta that's so close to launch is not good, especially only playing a very small portion of the game. They did one mode, they did one map, and another thing I noticed when I was playing is they said the maps are going to be smaller on the older generation of consoles. The maps are not smaller, the playable area on the maps is smaller. So your old consoles, your Xbox One, your PS4, are still going to use resources to basically render in the rest of the map and everything. So it could be very complicated for the older hardware, because they haven't cut down the size of the map, they've cut down the playable area. Everything outside the playable area still has to render in, and there's a lot of other processes behind it. Again, in my opinion, I cannot see this game being very stable on a technical level, but I can see EA and DICE making a lot of holiday money. They are not going to delay it again, although I feel it does need at least another 6, 9, maybe 12 months or something, just to polish it and get it to where it should be charging AAA prices. But I really cannot see that. It's not a guarantee that they won't delay it, but I can't see them delaying it again, because it's coming up Christmas, where the big money is made for gaming companies, for pretty much everyone realistically. But it's coming up to the Christmas month, and that's where a lot of money is made. I can't see them delaying it and losing out on that money. And no matter what, people are still going to buy this game, just purely based on the fact that the gameplay can be fun. And this game, just to wrap this up, does have the potential to be fantastic. I've said it in a video previously, even if I was ranting. But at the same time, what game that's come out in the last 3 or 4 years hasn't had the potential to be amazing? Even if you look at Marvel's Avengers, Outriders, COD, they've all had potential. Even Cyberpunk did. And look at what has happened to a big percentage of those games. What I'm going to do is leave the video there. That's all I've got to say. It might be a 2-month-old beta build, but they've done it in such a weird way. A lot of the feedback players will leave is going to be completely irrelevant because they might have fixed the issue. But let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.